In this video, I will be reviewing and comparing all three of my LEGO Black Pearls. In 2011, we got our first LEGO Black Pearl set, which in early 2025 inspired me to make a mini figure-scaled version of this legendary ship. Then later that same year, the LEGO Group also remade the Black Pearl, which leads me to where I am now. Starting with mine, this model stands at 51 inches tall and 47 inches long, with over 300 feet of rigging. At the bow of this vessel, I brick-built the figurehead to more accurately depict its size and shape from the movies. For the artillery, I have the full 32 guns that the Black Pearl is supposed to have, with 18 across the bottom and 14 along the top deck. I used LEGO Duplo for the anchors since LEGO's normal ones were too small and I still wanted them to be pretty much one piece. And one of the fun features of the ship is that the anchors actually work. If I remove this panel, I gain access to this crank where I can insert a tectic rod, where after I pull on the rope to lower the anchors, I can reel it back up. Running along the top decks, there is ample room for all 26 crew members, including the 14 guns, 2 dinghies, and at the helm there is room for the binnacle in front of it and the bell in the back, and also for the windows that peer down into the captain's quarters. On the main deck, you can see the 2 doors that lead into the captain's quarters with the 2 decorative statues on either side. This ship is also equipped with a working rudder that is operational from the helm, and works very similarly to how it would on a real sailing ship of the time, with 2 ropes that run straight down from the helm to pulleys, that then run to pulleys on the sides of the ship that come back and attach to a horizontal beam in the middle that is directly attached to the rudder to turn it. Directly in front of the helm is the binnacle, which houses a large compass for navigation. This is probably my favorite piece on the entire ship, because it's a LEGO compass that actually works. Well, kind of. Going to the stern castle, it is decoratively held up by these statues that run all around it, and on top I have the 2 men with the tridents and the fish that you see in the movies. Now the only interior in this ship is in the captain's quarters, and a few things need to be removed before I can get to it. And that's just because I have a lot of lights running through it and an anchor point for the rigging. For the interior, I wanted to make it as close as possible to movie accurate, while also having some fun references to other themes that you might recognize. Overall, I loved making this ship and I loved this build. If I was to remake it in the future though, I would want to figure out a way to make a full interior and still be able to access it with all this rigging. Next up, we have the latest Black Pearl from LEGO, standing at 26 inches tall and 26 inches long. For the rigging, you just get the rope ladders for all the masts, but I'm not complaining because rigging is a nightmare. For the figurehead, they went quite bold with their color choice. It is supposed to be made out of copper, I believe, in the movies, but I don't remember it quite standing out this much. My favorite feature of the ship has to be that the cannons can go in and out with a twist of a knob, also giving you an easy way to switch up your display. For the anchors, they're just attached with a chain piece, so they don't go down at all. But, unlike my ship, it does have some access to the lower deck. Here you can see the cannons move in and out, and inside there is a treasure chest with a golden goblet. The capstan doesn't actually work, but it can still rotate, which is fun. The doors to the captain's quarters, though, don't actually let you go in. And that would be because of the mechanism for the functioning rudder. The helm actually goes into the floor a little bit and turns this gear that runs along this rib plate to turn the rudder. Going to the stern castle, I really loved the good parts usage with the ice cream cone and the wheel well piece used to achieve the window arches. I do wish though that they would have used micro figures for along the bottom rather than just these T-bars on the side. Moving on to the interior of the captain's quarters, we have a pretty small space, also due to the rudder function, But there is still some good detail with the green apple reference for Barbossa, and a lot of candles. And a fish in a barrel. One thing I was concerned about was whether Jack would be able to stand up in the cabin or not. I was pleasantly surprised, however, that wherever you put him, he was able to stand up. Unfortunately, Barbossa cannot do this with a feather on his hat, though. The last fun feature of this ship is that you can actually remove the bottom portion of the ship to make it look as if it is floating in the water. Overall, it is a really beautiful Black Pearl for its size and very sturdy. My only really big complaint is that there are no cannons on the top deck, especially since LEGO claims that it is roughly minifigure scaled, and it is literally half the size of my minifigure scale Black Pearl, but take that as you will. Lastly, we have the original Black Pearl set from 2011. Measuring at 21 inches long and 20.5 inches tall. For the rigging, we have one set of rope ladders for the main masts. And for the figurehead in front, you get a very basic all-black minifig. And the bird that she's supposed to be holding apparently got away because there's only a few feathers left in her hand. For the anchor, it is also just attached with a chain piece, and you only get one. But it does make sense for the size that they made this ship. For the top deck, and only deck of this ship, you get plenty of room for your minifigures and your cannons. My only complaint is that there needs to be more cannons. They made 6 slots, but they only gave you 2. Now, as far as the door to the captain's quarters, it actually goes right into the captain's quarters. And for easy access, you just remove the top deck of the stern castle. For the interior, though it's not super fancy, you get loads of space for play, and all your minifigures can stand up, no problem. For the exterior of the stern castle, you get these golden graded window pieces, and the very classic torch pieces on the top. And for the rudder, it works, but you need to move it by hand and it's not operational by the helm, which I think is completely fine because you're not sacrificing any interior space that way. Overall, I love this ship. Minus the lack of cannons, for the time and audience, it was just about the perfect playset. And there you have it, all 3 Black Pearls. One is my own MOC, of course, but it's fun to see just the sheer size difference. The difference in the color variations used, and the surprising similarities in building techniques, especially when I didn't know what the new Black Pearl was going to look like when I made mine. They all have their pros and cons, exterior functions over interior space, and vice versa. But let me know what you think of them in the comments. Alright, that's all for now, so until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you then.